World, Chris Hogan coming to you live from the Chiang Nomad Summit, and I'm here with my reluctant guest, Emily. How are you, Emily?
I'm great.
So, Emily, one of the challenges about actually getting you to talk on social media was that there's a bit of a stigma that goes with nomads and social media.
A little bit. I feel like a lot of the things that we do is post out all of the amazing and beautiful parts of being a digital nomad. You know, we're in Chiang right now. It's amazing. Before this, I was in Italy. Before that, I was in Rio. I have a really nice Instagram post or series that I can put on there. But I feel like a lot of the kind of things that don't get talked about on the digital nomad side is like some of the actual challenges that come, and we create this lifestyle that is so beautiful and amazing that people want to do it, but there are challenges that come with it and like compromises that you make, being away from family, being on the road, traveling alone, the stigmas that come with it and everything there. So I often feel like I love my life, I'm really grateful for what I have, but it's also hard to talk on social media and post this amazing feed because one, I know that I am in a more privileged position for having this lifestyle, and two, I don't want to think that I'm any happier than anybody else who's not able to be in a location-independent lifestyle. I've realized that going and moving and traveling around the world, it doesn't solve all of your problems, and it doesn't make it that, you're not, even if you're living your dream, it doesn't mean that you don't have problems and you don't have challenges, and that you can be just as happy at home in one place as you can be while traveling the world.
That's fantastic. So let's talk about some of those challenges. What's been some of the biggest challenges maybe that you've had to overcome? And one of the things you said was that when we share our problems, it's not like you're not grateful.
Yeah.
There's plenty of gratitude there, but you should be able to share some of your problems as well, and not get judged by for that. And you're not grateful. You're living the best life in the world.
Right.
So what's some of those big challenges?
I'd say isolation can definitely be a challenge. Like, it's great having events like this because so much of the digital nomad community is online, that you don't really have as much opportunity to meet different people, or if you do, it's like you're here for a few months, you're somewhere else a few months, and so creating depth in the relationships you have can be really challenging. So I'd say, honestly, that on at least for me on the personal side of it is finding relationships that you can continue to contribute to. So it's nice being able to meet the nomadic community and then try and build depth within that with other people who are location independent. So if I'm in Chiang Mai, I'm going to Bali next, maybe there's other nomads that are there that we can, gain friendships from the temporariness.
So that isolation thing can happen, that problem of isolation can happen to anybody, anywhere in the world. You don't have to be a nomad to feel isolated.
Yeah.
In fact, many kids, teenagers, tweens can feel isolated, adults can feel isolated at home, in and around their friends.
Yeah, I felt that at San Diego as well. I think it's something that everybody learns in our increasingly online environment. I think it's really normal to feel isolated, and traveling around the world, it has its great benefits, but it doesn't solve that always. So it's learning to be grateful, enjoy the experiences, be present with where you're at, and accept it. I'm kind of digging into philosophy right now and realizing that happiness isn't the state of being happy all of the time, but it's understanding and acknowledging the highs and the lows of it, and knowing that there is going to be isolation, and that doesn't mean that that's necessarily bad. What are ways I can be proactive in that if I don't want to feel in that state? So it's going to events, it's traveling, it's getting involved in Facebook groups, it's taking the time to meet other people and getting outside of your comfort zone instead of getting caught up in it. Can you find people who you have things in common with? I just started acro yoga and finding a new community and meeting new people and trying new things, and it's a rewarding journey, even though there are the highs and the lows, and especially when traveling, the highs are really high and the lows can be low, so it's a journey.
I'm with you. I've traveled before, I completely get it. So what about calling friends and family and having an honest conversation with them?
Yeah, I have a mentor that I meet with every week who's been amazing and wonderful. And then the company that I work for, Seer Interactive, I meet with my coworker, my partner on the project, once a week, which is great. I talk to my mom every day on Skype, and then I set up calls with all my friends, so I'm talking with somebody once a week to continue to continue the relationships with people that I care about back home, and especially with different time zones and stuff, it just makes it easier to set up a call. So my close friends, I set up at least a monthly call that we meet up, and it helps a lot.
That's a fantastic tip. And so, what about that practicing gratitude thing? You know, some people have mantras. Some people just, have to just give themselves a slap while they're meditating, or just sit quietly, stay off the device, stop searching for happiness because you already have that within yourself and within your current life. What's your technique?
What's my practice? So I journal every day, and I kind of set it up. Tim Ferriss originally had like a 5-minute journal, and I modified it for myself. So it starts every day, like, what are 3 things I'm grateful for? And then I go into like a stoicism negative visualization practice. So picture my life like worse than it is, so I want the life that I have. Stoicism is an interesting philosophy.
Yeah, Tim Ferriss loves that.
Yeah, so I got into that too. And then a couple of the other questions around gratitude, like 3 amazing things that happened today. And then another one that I've modified is what am I proud of today? Like, what is something that I've done that I'm proud of? And especially when there are the challenges and especially the adjustments. I'm about 5 months into working remotely while traveling the world. That one, I realize every day there's something that I'm proud of myself, whether getting outside my comfort zone or like accepting the challenges or like enjoying the highs or just continuing to grow.
Sometimes it's a bit of a trawl through your thoughts, isn't it, to find that thing that you're proud of in one of those down days. It's like really hard, but they are there.
Yeah, that's when I get perspective from like friends and family, and there's a few friends who I know I can turn to who are like, nah, you're doing all right. So it helps. I think one of the things when you get into the isolation, you lose perspective on all of the great things that are going on in your life, and so figuring out how to like get that perspective back of like what you're proud of and what you're grateful for is important. Learning to do that. So
that's fantastic. So let's jump on to remote work really quickly.
Yeah.
Seer Interactive have allowed you to work remotely.
Yeah.
Were you the first one?
Yeah, so I love my company, Seer Interactive. They are hiring. Basically, I talked to them almost a year ago, back in April, and I'd been working there almost a year, and I was like, I love it here. I was actually up for a promotion and a pay raise, and I was like, I don't want to continue to go down that path and lead on you guys, because I'm thinking about quitting to travel the world, and I had spent a lot of time like thinking about doing it, figuring out different ways to do it, and so I'd actually bought a plane ticket and sat down with the HR director and was like, hey, I'm thinking about quitting because I want to travel the world, I want to work part-time, I want to explore and build it. She's like, I think there's a way we can make that happen. So I then talked to our CEO, Will, and Emily, and then the rest of the leadership team, and they let me pretty much build and pitch my own role within the company that let me work 20 hours a week on a part-time basis from any time zone in the world. And it's been amazing. So I started that last August, so it's been 5 months, 6 months. I just got a 12-month contract with them, which I'm really excited for. I feel like I'm exponentially growing my career working part-time. I love the people that I work with. I love that I can still be part of the team. It's an amazing company, and I'm starting to write about how employees and employers can have better relationships so that things like this can happen, because there are so many benefits to being able to pitch your company, and like when you trust your company, being able to have those open conversations can lead to really great things for both employees and employers, so that's really exciting.
There's some fantastic people in the Chiang Mai network that I think you should connect with. I'm sure they're listening. So we'll give them a tag. We'll tag them in these posts, and hopefully you can connect with them.
Yeah.
You're both on the same path there about remote team relationships.
Yeah,
There's
great.
more and more companies out there that are having remote first policies.
Yeah.
How important do you think that is?
I mean, it all depends on the people, and it's, especially when you're traveling around the world, you have to really like your job, because when there's always something more fun or better to do, and not necessarily better, but there's a lot of shiny objects.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I can go to the elephants, I can go to the botanical gardens, I can go eat food, I can have 2-hour massage for $12 here. Like, there's so many things, so having the discipline to actually sit down and do work, it has to be the right, I guess, fit and employee. But I do think the option is important, but you have to build trust, It doesn't, I remember it being in Italy, they're like, wait, you just log in your hours and nobody abuses that system of trust? I'm like, no, like, we trust each other.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that'd never work in Italy. So I think I found it funny, it wasn't my opinion, but just repeated from people. So I think that there's definitely a time and a place when we're innovating and moving forward, and it will be a lot more common, and and hopefully easier for people as well.
Fantastic story, Emily. Fantastic. You're a natural. I'm so glad we captured that. So glad we did. I hope your family get to watch this. Guys, God, who gets to have conversations like that? I feel very grateful for that conversation, Emily. You guys have got a lot to learn from that conversation. Watch it over again. More of them coming to you live on facebook.com/Beach City Live, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can just search for Beach City. Cheers.
Thanks.